Hello everyone, welcome back to today's video. Today we are doing a Mineplex server review. Technically, yes, we're doing a Minecraft server review on Mineplex. So I made one of these videos for Mineplex and recorded this actually a week and a half ago, but a lot of the points that I brought up were kind of addressed in one of the latest updates, which is kind of weird to think about because I never actually published a video, and you know, maybe I read the minds of the Mineplex updates in the future. Anyway, I kind of wanted to re-record because I wanted to add on these aspects and kind of explain them a little bit. So I did want to re-record the video, which is why it is a little later than I originally was supposed to post this. Anyway, let's get straight into this. So if you don't know Mineplex, it was the top server before Hypixel, and it kind of died off for a lot of reasons, but the main reason, which most of the community is pretty sure of, is the ownership staff of it just kind of disappeared. And in turn with that, the leadership didn't know what to do. They couldn't make good games. They lost the funding for the server. All that good stuff kind of occurred throughout the time over on Mineplex. And I still have quite a lot of problems with the server just in terms of the usability of it and how it's designed. I do love Mineplex. I've been a fan of Mineplex for a long time. I'm not hating on it. I just have a lot of suggestions and things that kind of could use improvement on the server. So let's talk a little bit about this. So if you didn't know, Mineplex used to have 4 owners, I believe, 3 or 4 owners, and they were just your typical owners. They would hop on the server, give ideas in the back end, and all that good stuff. Some were more investors and business sided, some were more game design and stuff like that. Chiss, who was one of the original owners, was actually the lead dev for a while, I believe, and he kind of really came up with the ideas, brought a bunch of games from his old server when Mineplex merged with them. And when he left, that's when things kind of went downhill. There was they hired a bunch of leadership team members and stuff, but they never seemed to really get the feeling of the community, in a way, is the best way I could kind of put it. They did get community feedback and stuff, but they never acted on most of it. Most of the community feedback, they wanted, like, the community was moving toward more PvP games. Mineplex was still releasing mini games that weren't totally PvP based, but just kind of overall minigame based, which isn't the way that the community was moving. And they released games that just didn't fit the audience that Minecraft was moving to, and they felt that hard. I mean, their player count, what is now, they don't even display the player count in game anymore, but like, it was, I think they're running at a few, maybe 1,000 players at best. Most of the time they're under that, on Java edition at least, not Bedrock. But you know, that type of delay and drop in players, it's going to cause some problems, which it did on Mineplex. I mean, most of their funding came from, like, all their funding obviously comes from the players who play on the server. So them losing from the top most popular server with 30,000 people to one with barely 1,000, you're going to lose a lot of developers. You're going to lose a lot of funding because the owners aren't going to want to fund something that isn't making money. So that's kind of what happened. A lot of the owners went on to do other investments and other things, and the leadership team was hired to just pretty much make sure everything kept running, but they didn't have the ability to take that community aspect like Hypixel did and actually turn it into something very big and quite large for Minecraft. And that is kind of where Mineplex started dying out. They've had problems over the years with hacking, their developers leaking source code. If you don't remember that time, it was the fake Plex time and all that stuff, where people just took Mineplex's source code and made a second Mineplex. That's a big thing. And you can still see that the server is having some problems. Like right there, when I jumped in midair, I lagged for a minute and I was able to fly. Like, there's still a lot of back end big things with the server that just has never really been fixed 100%. There's still quite a lot of lag throughout the network, and there's a great blog post by one of the old leaders of Mineplex where he explains that their databases just got super full, and they had a lot of people who joined for just a second and logged out, but they never wanted to clear that data, because data, obviously, if you didn't know, in the technology world, is like the most important thing of all time is data. So they never wanted to clear that data, even though I don't know exactly what you're going to do with all of the player data, but you know, go each to themselves there. But they never clear that data. So inventory loading was slow, stats loading was slow, everything around the server was pretty slow. And you can still see there's bugs here, like this treasure chest thing. These bugs have been here for a very long time. I remember reporting those over a year ago, and they've not been fixed. I mean, there's just a number of things that should be fixed, and for player accessibility and everything need to be fixed, but they just don't. They try, but they just don't have the funding and they don't have the ability to. The lead dev now of Mineplex, Alex Decoder, he's doing a great job. He's doing his best to try to fix the server, move it to a new aspect, and I 100% applaud that. There's just a lot of things that they need to fix. Like, I muted the note block audio because it's a very loud in the background, and I can't find a way to turn that off. There's no, like, /profile is an admin command. I can't even run the command to do that. The profile in your, like the skin changer and stuff, you can't even use without an immortal rank. /settings isn't a rank. The player aspect, they're not like working toward helping the player out with anything. They're adding these features and stuff to make it look cool and everything, but they're forgetting people want to toggle things off. Not everybody wants to listen to music. Not everyone wants titles. Not everyone wants the crazy amount of cosmetics, even though that's the way that they make money. Not everybody wants that. So they're kind of removing aspects, and this is a good example of that was the way that queues worked on the server. They've temporarily removed all queues through the server. Great job with that, because that actually is a big thing I mentioned in the video I re-recorded. But queues were a big problem for a while because people would never fill up the games. The games are sitting at very low player counts, and these player counts here are looking a lot better than they were when I was recording the first version of this video. Like half these games had 0 players. Like Micro Battle's still 0 players and stuff, but at least some of them are being played now, which is a good thing. So the queue system, in my opinion, I'm glad they kind of threw it out for now. It was never working how it should. It took me 5.5 minutes to get into a Dragon Escape game once on a mixed arcade aspect. So obviously there's some problems with however the queue system works, but I'm glad they threw it out for now, and they are working to replace that at some point soon as well. Personally, with the way everything has gone so far, what I would recommend to Mineplex to do, pretty much keep player data, except for players that have never played or are very limited playing, like the old leader put on that blog post and suggested. So you eliminate all those extra database info and all that good stuff. Who knows if they've done that? I'm not an internal Mineplex staff or anything. I have no clue what they're doing. But one of the aspects I recommend doing, and then start working on games. Have like a classics lobby like Hypixel has, but start working on games that people are actually going to want to play now. Cake Wars is a good example. It's very popular in Mineplex Bedrock, though it is pretty much exactly like Bed Wars. It's something that players are still playing here on Mineplex. So maybe start working on games like that and adding new games that players actually want to play, get their feedback, do something like the prototype lobby, or expand the QA team and get people to play and have fun and all this. Gladiators in the hub, for example, seems to be pretty popular, and there's always people waiting around the NPCs. Bring that back as its own game mode, just the PvP aspects of it, because people like those aspects. That's just my opinions. Obviously, everybody can have their own opinions on how everything works. I love Mineplex. I love Hypixel. They're both great servers, and I do recommend you play on them. Mineplex, just try to work a little bit on how you have everything set up. Hopefully, you can overcome some of the challenges you've run into in the last few months, and I wish you the best. So to Alex and the Coder and the rest of the Mineplex team, keep doing the great job you've been doing recently. This is way more positive than my original video just because of all the changes you did in the last week. So thank you for all the great changes, and keep having fun, and hopefully you can just improve the server and continue improving it, and everybody making their own servers can kind of learn by the mistakes that you made to create their own servers as well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode tomorrow, probably. Anyway, see you tomorrow, everyone. Goodbye.